Okay, so certainly, hopefully you paid attention during lecture and during the presentation of the examples, and that homework is something that you're going to do on your own, where you get to try it on your own. All right. So I'm gonna switch to the whiteboard, and I'll try to do one problem at a time. Okay, so let's look at problem number one. Now, certainly, if I were doing problem number one, they want to get a Taylor polynomial, and let's see if we can write it down. So first thing I'd probably do is I probably would rewrite this thing as, let me just go over this, as 2/3 times 1 over 1 plus x. And then I probably would write down 2/3 times 1 plus x to the minus 1. Now, someone says, why would you go through that trouble? Because I have to differentiate it multiple times. All right. So I'll write down the derivatives one at a time. So if f of x is equal to 2/3 1 plus x to the minus 1, f prime would equal minus 2/3 1 plus x to the minus 2. F double prime, and again, this could be repeated forever, really. The multiplication might get difficult, but it's really not that bad. So you get 3, then it's going to be 1 plus x to the minus 3. Let me put down the third derivative. And when you get over here, well, you'd get, let's see what you get, minus 12/3, right? 1 plus x to the minus 4. I think you get the idea. If I want to put the fourth derivative down, what do you get? Well, you get minus, no, you don't get minus, you get plus, right? So plus 48/3, 1 plus x minus 5. All right. So the next thing comes up is we're going to evaluate these things at the center, which is 0. And let's do one at a time. So what's f0? Well, let's see, that's going to be 2/3. What's f prime at 0? That's minus 2/3. What's f double prime at 0? That's 4/3. What's f triple prime? That's a third derivative at 0. Well, looking at it, I'm going to simplify, that's minus 4, right? And then if I went to the fourth one of 0, well, that'll give me 16. All right, I think you get the idea that this could go on for a very long time. And they're not asking me to go on for a long time. Let's go back and see what the question says again. They want to get T3. So let's go through that. All right. So T3, let's write this down, is going to be, let's see, it's going to be f, this is centered at 0, by the way, f of 0 plus f prime of 0 times x. Let's keep writing it down, plus f double prime 0 times x over, x squared over 2 factorial, which is 2. I'll write as 2 factorial. By the way, this could be 1, and you could write this as 1 factorial. And you could write down this as x to the 0, 0 factorial, if you like. All right. It has a nice pattern to it. F triple prime at 0 times x cubed over 3 factorial. Well, I think I know a lot of this information. Again, if you can't remember, we'll just remind you. So this is, the first term is going to be, that's 0 factorial, just 2/3. Okay, let's do the next term. Next term is going to be minus 2/3 times x. The next one's going to be 4/3 x squared, 2 factorial is 2. I'll simplify that later. Plus, well, the triple derivative is going to be minus 4. Let me get my eraser out. I want to put minus 4 then. Minus 4 x cubed, and 3 factorial is 3 times 2, 6 times 1 is 6. All right. Let me simplify it. I'm going to get 2/3 minus 2/3 of an x plus 2/3 x squared. And this is going to be minus 2/3 x cubed. All right, it's kind of remarkable, isn't it? So I'm kind of looking at it. I want to put down, this sure does look like 2/3 times 1 minus x plus x squared minus x cubed. All right, I guess that's another good looking answer. I want to discuss another way of getting this one. This is can be gotten by long division as well. I want to go through that with you. And certainly I'll look at the key later. And by long division, what am I looking at? I'm looking at f of x equals 2/3 times 1 over, and that's 1 plus x. What long division are we talking about? This long division. Let's give it a shot, see what happens. So it's going to be 1 plus x divided into 1. So we get 1. That would give you 1 plus x. I'll subtract, you get minus x. So it'll be minus x. That would be minus x squared. Subtract, you would get x squared. So what do you have there? Plus x squared. That would give you x squared plus x cubed. I think you get the idea. Subtract to get x cubed, and so forth and so on. Are we getting the same thing? We are. And what I mean by that, we're getting that pattern 2/3 times 1 minus x plus x squared minus x cubed. Let me show you where that is. It's right over here. All right, I want to go to the key, make sure the key is written down for you. And the answer is there. So the answer is right over here. All right, same answer. All the work is written down for you. All right, let's go to the next one. This one's centered at 4. And I'll go through that with you. And what I have to do is I have to do a bunch of derivatives now. And for me to do the derivatives, I want to try to make it as easy as possible for me. All right, so let's write this down. F of x is equal to 1 plus x squared to the minus 1. F prime is going to be minus 1 plus x squared to the minus 2 times 2x. Right now, I'm starting to realize the derivatives are getting more difficult. And why is that? Yeah, now I got product here. So I got to do the next derivative, which to me, I don't know, it looks like it might be tough. I don't want to go too far on this one. So it's going to be, let's see, I'm going to take the first guy. So it's going to be 2, 1 plus x squared to the minus 3 times 2x times 2x. Let's do the next guy. That's going to be minus 1 plus x squared to the minus 2 times root of 2x, which is 2. That's problematic. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to factor out a 2 and a 1 plus x squared to the minus 2. All right, what do you get? You would get 1 plus x squared to the minus 1, 4x squared. You know what? I'm gonna back up on that one. I'm gonna do something different than that. I don't like that. I'm gonna do something that actually more outrageous here. I'm gonna factor out a 2, 1 plus x squared to the minus 3. And what do you get there? Well, you get 4x squared minus 1 plus x squared. Yeah, that's it. And what does that give me? 2, and this is nightmarish, there's no doubt about it. X squared minus 3. And what do you get over there? 3x squared minus 1, right? I want to point out when you're doing, problems, it might be a good idea to look at what you've done. Did I get the first derivative correctly? That's minus 2x. I'm seeing that right over here. 1 plus x squared to the minus 2. And did I get the second derivative correct? Let's take a look. I see the 2. I see the 1 plus x squared to the minus 3. And I do see the 3x squared minus 1. Now, of course, someone says, oh my God, you have to do another one. Yeah, I got to do another one. And this is nightmarish. I understand that. And so I'm going to, first guy, and this will be the second guy. So I'm going to do I like to do easy things first. I'm going to do the derivative of 3x squared minus 1 first, which is going to be 6x times 2, 1 plus x squared minus 3, plus, oh boy, this looks tough, 3x squared minus 1 times the derivative of that other guy, which can be minus 6, 1 plus x squared to the minus 4 times 2x. All right, I gotta be careful here. So I'm going to factor out 1 plus x squared to the minus 4. And I'm going to factor out a 12. I'm going to underline what I'm doing. 12 there, okay? And I said I was going to factor out 1 plus x squared to the minus 4. All right, what do I get? Let's write it down. I would get x times, well, let's see, that would be 1 plus x squared, right? Let's do the next guy. That's going to be minus, I did the 12, right? I got x. And I have, let's see what I got, 3x squared minus 1. It's not marriage. There's no doubt about it. 12, 1 plus x squared minus 4. Let's see if we can do this. And certainly, if I'm looking at it, I got, x cubed minus 3x cubed, which is minus 2x cubed. Let me see if I did that. X cubed minus 3x cubed minus 2x cubed. Then I get plus x. Plus x is 2x, right? Well, I think I could factor that too. I could factor a 2x out from that. That would give me 24x. 1 plus x squared to the minus 4. That would be x minus, I factored the x out, I'm sorry. Let me go backwards. Factor out 2x, right? That would be 1 minus x squared. All right, let's see if I got it right. And I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this over here. And I got 24x, 1 minus x squared. Yeah, I did pretty good. And 1 plus x squared to the minus 4. All right, here comes, are you ready to move forward? I think so. And someone says, oh, what are you going to do now? And this is going to be tough. I have to evaluate these things at minus 4. All right, so let me write this down for you. So f of minus 4, f prime of minus 4, f double prime at minus 4, and f triple prime at minus 4. Yeah, I know it's tough. Let me do f of x first. What's it going to be? 1 plus 16. So it's 1/17. That's done. Let's do f prime. So what's that going to be? Ooh, it's going to be a tough one. So it's going to be 2 times minus 4, and then a minus, so it's going to be 8 on top. And on bottom, you'd get 1 plus 16, 17 squared. Right? And nightmarish. There's no doubt about it. Let's do the next one. And I just did this. I'm going to do this. And I got to write it down. 2 over 17 cubed times, we'll simplify this later. And then I get 3 times 16 is 48, 47. Oh boy, the fourth one's over here. I'm sorry, third one was minus 4. Let's see, 4 times 24, it's 80, it's 60, 96, minus 96 over 17 to the 4th power times 1 minus x squared. Well, if x squared is going to be 1 minus 15, right? I know it's tough, and I make mistakes all the time too. So it's going to be 1/17. Let's do 17 squared. That would be 170, 10 times 17, 70, that's 10 times 10 and 49. Let's see, it's 289. All right, let me get my eraser to erase my baby arithmetic. I know this is tedious. Now I got 289 times 17 now, right? So first I'll do 2 times 47, that's 80 and 14, 94. And I got 289 times 17, nightmarish, 2890. That's 10 times 289. Then I'm going to do 7 times 200, which is 1400. 7 times 8 is, let's see, 56, 560. And 7 times 9 is 63. No, I don't enjoy doing that either. Let's see, 6 and 6 is 12, and a 9 is 21. 10, 14, 19. Carry the 1, get 4. That's going to be 4, 9, 1, 3. Oh, these are nightmarish. I'm going to give up now. I was going to put down 15 times 96 over 17 to the 4th power. All right. Now, by the way, someone says, I wonder if that's correct. Well, I'm going to just go to the next page, and I want to take these numbers over here. I'm going to copy them for you. Now, this is what you should be doing when you're doing homework. Part of me doing homework is teaching you how to do homework. All right. And it's really an important concept. People that don't have that skill set. And for one thing, they've really never put much thought into a homework before. And let me just take a look at this. And let's see how we're doing. 1/17th, 8 over 289, 94 over 413. And you know what? I guess I'm just going to trust them. But I wouldn't trust, I think I can do it. And I'll write it down for you. The top number. What's top number? Well, 15 times 96. That would be, I'll write this down for you. 15 times 96, that's 960. And then I could get, let's see, 480. 0. 8 and 6 is 14. So 1440. Gee, that top is correct. I can check the bottom out, and it's really going to be 4913 times 17. Just practice my arithmetic. That's going to be 49130. And then I'm going to do 7 times 4. I just did the 10 times that. I'm going to do 7 times 4,000. That's, let's see, 7 times 4,000, 28,000. 2,800, I mean, right? Yeah, I didn't line it up very nicely, did I? Seventeen to the 44913 times 17. 7 times 9. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's 28,000. Yeah, I kind of dislike arithmetic, don't I? And 7 times 9, 63. And then 70. And then 21. I'm just checking. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, 17, 23. 4, 5, 6, 8, 8, 3. Yeah, wow, that's a miracle too. Then we have erasure out. And again, I hate to bore you with the tiny arithmetic on the side, but it's important. Arithmetic, I say, is a really important skill set. It's tedious though. You might say, I want to use a calculator instead. I don't mind. I really don't mind. Let me write it down now. What's this going to be? Well, I'm going to write down T3. So it says, I can't remember. They asked for that. That's what they asked for. And what's going to be? Well, F evaluated at 0. So I'll write this over here. I'm sorry, at -4. Sorry about that. Plus 8 over 289. And then it's going to be, again, we're centering this thing at the, let me just make sure I'm doing that, -4. So what do we get over there? We would get x plus 4. Let's see, 0 factorial, 1 factorial. I got this done. Let's get the next one. Plus 94 over 4913, x plus 4 squared over 2 factorial, which is 2. Let's put the next one down. Plus, write that number down, 1440 over 83521. Whoops. 83521 times x plus 4 cubed over 3 factorial, which is 6. All right, I'm going to just clean up a tiny little bit. Don't be discouraged. I'll put a box on in a moment. I'm not beyond making mistakes. I'm going to divide 2 into 94. That's 47 times, right? Again, I'm not beyond making mistakes. Plus, okay, I got to do this one over here, right? So 2 goes into this 3 times. 2 goes into that, let's see, 720, right? By the way, 720 is by 3, 2. I put this down for you, 720, 3 into that, and make sure you know what I'm talking about. 2, 6, 1, 2, that would be 4. So 240 over 8, 3, 5, 2, 1, x plus 4 cubed. Don't be discouraged. Let's go to the next page. I'm going to grab the answer. Answer's right here. I got to copy it. And again, the reason we're going through this is we're teaching the concept of how to do homework. All right, how to do homework. And I just did my work, and this is how I would do homework. And I would look at this now and say, I wonder if I got it right. Let's get a red pen out. I got the 1/17. I got the 8 over 289 times x plus 4. I got the 47 over 4913 times x plus 4 squared. Then I got the bottom number 83521. I did verify that before, 240. And then I got, it looks great. We did a great job. Let's go to the next one. And next one is a little bit easier because the derivatives are far easier for me. All right. That last one was a nightmare. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not going to, say I apologize for nightmares. Part of, this is really grunt work. It's like exercise. That's what it is. Let's write this down now. And I think I can do pretty good with this. So what's f of x? It's going to be x4 minus 2x. Nice things about polynomials are derivatives get easier over time. And what do you get there? Well, you get 12x squared. Then I'll do the third derivative. And what's that going to give you? 24x. Again, if I were doing homework, the next thing I would do is just check to make sure I got the right derivatives. And I'm looking at them right now. I did pretty good. Which things did I do? I got to evaluate those things at the number 3. So it's going to be 81 minus 6. I'll do that later. This one's going to be 4 times 27 minus 2. Again, I'll do that later. This can be 12 times 9. Again, I'm going to do that later. It's going to be 24 times 3. Well, I got to do those. This is going to be 75. 4 times 27 is 80 and 28. So it's 108 minus 2, 106. Yep, you can make mistakes. Think about practicing. You can make a lot of mistakes when you practice. So when you get to the exam, the mistakes will kind of reduce. That's going to be 90 and 18, 108. And then 24 times 3 is 60 plus 12, 72. So let's write down T2. I think they asked for that. Let me make sure of that. Yep, let's write it down. So let's put this down. It's going to be 75 plus 106 x minus 3 plus 108 x minus 3 squared over 2. Now, if I divide by 2, I hope you realize that 108 divided by 2 is going to be 54. So I'm going to erase this and write down 54. We'll check the answer later. If I make a mistake, I'll correct it. Now I want to write down T3. Now, by the way, I've already done these terms over here, so this is not my issue over here. Unless, of course, I made a mistake. But I got to write down the next term. And I want to point out the next term. The coefficient is going to have 72, and that's going to be x minus 3 cubed over 3 factorial, which is 6. And 6 goes into 72 12 times. I'm going to write that down now. So plus 12, x minus 3 to the third power. So I got T2, and I got T3. Again, part of the learning experience is just, wondering how people actually do homework. This is how I would do my homework if I were doing it. I would look back over here, and I want to copy these answers because I can't remember. This is me looking at the answer key, right? I know what some people are going to complain here, saying, well, you're looking at your own answer key. You're right. I made the answer key. Let's take a look at it, see if we got the right, the right answers over here. So T2, they say it's 75. Then they say 106 times x minus 3. Then they say 54 times x minus 3 squared. Let's look at the next one, which is T3. They say it's 75, 106 times x minus 3, 54 times x minus 3 squared, and then 12 times. Wow, we did that correct. Let's go to the next page. And let's take a look at this one. And this one, again, they're nightmarish. There's no doubt about it. Part of going through the nightmare is that you realize, some of these things are really tough. So let's just talk through it. All right, let's talk one step at a time. So first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to get the derivatives, and I'll write the function down. So f of x is equal to, let's see, it's equal to tangent, right? I probably should know that the derivative of tangent is going to be secant. You learned that in Calc 1. Secant squared, I'm sorry. All right, now this is me. This may not be you. I can't remember the derivative of that guy. So what I would write down instead is that this is actually cosine x to the minus 2. So I'm going to write down the second derivative now. I think I can do it. To me, that would be minus 2 cosine x to the minus 3 times, well, the derivative of cosine is going to be minus sine. So I put this over here. I know this is difficult, by the way. So what's this going to be? 2 sine x over cosine cubed x. I'll put the third derivative down, and this is me. This is me doing the work. Your work may look slightly different. I'm going to use the quotient rule. So it's going to be cosine to the, I'm squaring the bottom, right? And that's a 3. So it's going to be cosine 6. Bring that to the top. Through the top is going to be 2 cosine x minus the top times the derivative of the bottom, which is 3 cosine squared x times the derivative of cosine, which is minus sine. So I'm just going to put sine here then. All right. Now I realize what some students are going to say, can you check this? I would like to. I would like to look at my derivatives. I got the function down right. I got the first derivative down right. I'm looking at the second derivative. Did I get that right? I don't know. Let me see if I can do that. What's that going to be? What they wrote down was 2. Well, sine over cosine is tangent. And then, 1 over cosine squared is secant squared. Let me see if they got that. 2 tangent x. Yeah, they did that. Let's do the next one, and I'll write it down for you. Again, I'm doing homework now. I'm just checking to see if I'm doing okay. And I'm going to divide through. And it's going to be, let's see, this would be, if I did all this thing, it would be 2. The first term, by the way, that's cosine cubed times 2 cosine x, which is 2 cosine 4 divided by cosine 6, which can be secant squared. Let me see if I did that right. secant squared, cosine 4, cosine 4. Yeah, secant squared. Plus, that would be 6. And that would be sine squared. And then I'd have cosine squared over cosine 6, which would be secant to the 4th. All right. Now I'm not seeing that answer, by the way. So I'm gonna factor it and see if I get something I need. And I'm wondering why I'm getting a different answer. Maybe I made a mistake. It's possible. Got second derivative, right? I'd probably factor out a secant squared. Probably factor out a 2. What would you get? 1 plus. No, yeah, I think I made a mistake somewhere. So this is part of the learning experience. I'm going to say, if I were doing homework, I'd say, oh, gee whiz, I didn't get the right answer. And what I would do is I would try again. Not in a frustrated way either, in a productive way, saying I want to get this right. Whoops. And that's part of your learning curve. All right, so let's take a look at it. And someone says, what are you differentiating again? This guy over here. All right, let's see if I got it down right, first of all. So as I said, 2 sine x. Well, 2 sine over cosine is 2 tan x. And so that's the right derivative. So let's write this down. So it's going to be cosine to the 6th power cosine cubed x times the derivative top is going to be 2 cosine x minus 2 sine x times the derivative of the bottom, which is going to be 3 cosine squared x times the derivative of cosine, which is minus sine. So it's going to be plus, I'll put the sine squared here. I think I just did that though. I'll have to struggle with it. I'm struggling now. So what do you get? 2 cosine 4x over cosine 6x. Let's go to the next term. Plus 2 times 3. Whoops. I think I can do that, right? That would be 6 sine squared x cosine squared x over cosine to the 6, which would be cosine squared x times cosine 4. We get there 2 secant squared x plus 6 tangent squared x times secant squared x. Again, it's my learning curve. Let's see if I got it right. So T2 secant, let's see, 4. Man, I'm still getting something different, aren't I? Getting tan squared x, secant squared, 2 secant. I think I might have a mistaken derivative there. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to a computer algebra system. And this is something you should also consider when you're doing homework. So what I'm going to do now, just give me 1 second. I'm going to share another screen with you. Give me a second to do so. New share. And I'm going to scroll to that problem for you. And I think we're doing this one over here, right? So what I want to do is I want to go to Sage. And I'm going to type this in for you. So I'm going to type in, let me clear. And what I'd like to do is just, I'd like to, say, let me do what I would normally do. Reset. I'll take X to be a var. And that var is going to be X. And I'm going to say f of X is equal to the tangent of X. All right. Diff. And I'm sorry, I don't do that. F of X with respect to X. And it gives me that, which is equivalent to secant squared. All right. Let me just show you that. Bool, right? That's Boolean. Secant X squared is equal to, double equal sign, by the way, and it's equal to tangent. I'm using that notation, by the way, +1. Sure. All right, let's do this one. Let's do the second derivative. All right, did the second derivative. And I'm gonna do a bool again. So bool. And again, part of this is a learning curve. I mean, you're learning. All right. And someone says, does learning take time? It takes tremendous time. So I'm going to say, I'm going to just copy paste. I don't want to type it in again. And the reason for that is it takes me too much time to type. And I realize you can get very annoyed by that. But I'm going to type this in. I'll put an equal sign here. And what did I get for an answer for second derivative? 2 times tan X times secant X squared. Let's hope I didn't copy anything wrong. True. All right, let's do the third derivative. Now I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put bool. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to just do the third derivative. Now, I think you probably remember the answer I got if it's written down. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do bool, which is Boolean. My answer was 2 times secant X, the whole thing was squared, plus 6 star tan. I'm just simply cut my answer. Squared star secant X, right? And Boolean, is it equal to this thing over here? Sure. All right. Now, someone's going to say, the answer that's in the key, I wonder what they did with it. And I want to go back to my notes now. So I know my answer is correct. I'm going to go back to the notes. All right. And I know that's a lot of work for students. I realize that. And the deal about this over here is that I want to go back to what you did in Math 120 now. So let me do that. Give me 1 second. I'm going to do another share. And I got to do a share here with you, right? And just be momentarily with you. So I want to remind you what you did in Math 120. So in Math 120, you've got a problem like this. What you do is you'd write it down. So what do you get? This would be 2 secant 4 X plus 4 tangent squared X secant squared. Well, I know it seems really difficult, but I guess I'd have to do something with it, right? So one thing I would probably do is, I see this and I see this, and that's clearly different. And this is clearly different too. So what I would be looking at is I'd probably look at this side entirely, and I would probably factor out something here. What would you factor out? Probably 2 secant squared X. And again, I'm picking this side, right? And what would you be left off with? Well, you'd be left off with secant squared x, that's a first term, right? Plus 2 tangent squared x. All right. So far, so good. I'm still looking at it, wondering what to do now. So let's take a look at it. 2 secant squared x. But let me see if I can write this down now. So I'm going to write down, yeah, I guess I could write some things down. For example, I know some Pythagorean identities, right? So just to remind you, I know that, tangent squared x plus 1, right, is equal to secant squared, right? So I guess I could write that down. What would you get over there? You would get, well, secant squared x is going to be 1 plus tangent squared x plus 2 tangent squared x. I get my eraser out and just erase my Pythagorean identity that I used before. I don't need it anymore. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm wondering, can I go further? I'm still not there. And someone says, what do you mean you're not there? I'm not there yet. So you can get 2 and this would be 1 plus 3 tangent squared x. And again, I'm just trying to remind you what you did math, 120. And you're pretty far beyond that. I know that. So let's give you 2 secant squared x plus 6 tangent squared x secant squared x. And this is where you probably announce to your teacher, the Math 120, that this is a QED that you show you're supposed to do. All right. So again, what did I do? I'm learning. And what am I learning about? I'm learning about how to check an answer key. So I'm comfortable with all of them. I really am. I'm comfortable with all the stuff that I've written over here. Every single one thing I'm comfortable with now. Did it take me time and effort to get through that? Yeah. And study takes time and effort. Of course, don't think it's over yet. What I have to do now is I've got to take these things over here and I got to evaluate them. And let me write that down for you. Now I'm convinced they're all right. All right. So I did my work. I looked at my key. I went back to Math 120 and I did some verifications. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do f of, now make sure I'm doing the right number, is, whoops, sorry about that, is 5 pi over 4. I know this is tough, but as I do this over here, I want to remind you what you did Math 120. It's 5 pi over 4, so the thing is over here. All right. And that's, if I did, the reference triangle over there would be a 45, 45, 90. So I'm just going to put some numbers in over here, -1, -1, and this would be √2 then for the radius, right? This is why would you do that? Well, I need to know certain things. For example, I need to know what the tangent of that angle is, and that's clearly just going to be -1 over 1, which is 1. Let me go over here, point out, I'm just checking it. We're learning how to do homework. F of, well, this is going to be prime now, 5 pi over 4. A little more difficult, but that's secant. And what's that going to be? Well, I need to know the secant, and the secant is going to be, it's going to be squared, by the way. It's going to be, let's see, -√2. What does that give me? 2. Let's check our key, and this is good. All right, let's go to the next one. F double prime, 5 pi over 4. And what's that going to give me? I'm looking at it. It's 2 tangent squared. Well, I'm sorry, not tangent squared, just tangent. The tangent's going to be 1 at that number. And then secant squared, I guess we just did that. That's 2. What's it going to give me? 4. Let's check our K, and I'm seeing that. Let's go to the next one. F triple prime. And what's that going to be? Well, 2. Again, we're using this over here. Secant to the 4th power, that's going to be 4. Plus 4 times 1 times 2. Let's see if we can do that. That's going to be 8 plus 8 which is 16. Let's check it. I got this over here. Game's not over yet, guys. So put down the answer now. They want me to write down the Taylor Polynomial T2 and T3. Let's do that. We'll look at the key later. Whoops. T2 is going to be, well, 1 plus 2x minus 5 pi over 4 plus 4 over 2 factorial x minus 5 pi over 4 squared. Let me simplify this a little bit. 1 plus 2 x minus 5 pi over 4 plus 2 x minus 5 pi over 4 squared. I'll put a box now. We'll look at the key later. Let's put down T3. Well, I've already done the first 3 terms. Might as well keep doing that. We'll check the key later. And I got to put that 4th term down. Yeah, let's see, 1, 2, yeah, 4th term. What's coefficient going to be 16? And that's going to be x minus 5 pi over 4 cubed. And then because I'm on 3 factorial, right? That's 6, right? Now you have to realize that 6 divided by 16 can be reduced to 8/3. And I'm gonna erase this now and write down 8/3 instead. All right, I'm gonna get the next page. I'm gonna grab the answer. Whoops, I don't mean to do that. I'm gonna grab that answer. Again, I know this is tremendous work. And a lot of students are not used to the work that goes into actually doing problem sets. All right, so let me just paste that in here, okay? And let's take a look at it. And I really mean that. I'm looking at these answers. So T2, they say it's 1 plus 2 times, I got that, and 2 times that, I got that. So this is good. Let's look at T3. 1, this I got, and I got this one over here. And this is good news, all right? Now, I know this is a long homework section for students, and it's tedious. And certainly if you're bad at arithmetic and algebra and pre-calculus, it's not only tedious, it's impossible. But you certainly need to learn those skills to go forward, all right? Do people make mistakes to go forward? Of course they do. You want to learn from your mistakes. So where are we now? Let's see if the next question. Okay, so the next one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little break. Let me put a line here. And I would recommend doing that too. You take a little break, you come back later, and you finish it up. Okay, I'll be back to do finishing it in 2 parts.